Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Sometimes we are in a situation where we are with friends or with colleagues at work and we want to order a pizza, but we don't know how many pizzas we will need. This is why today we are going to create an application with React.js which will calculate how many pizzas we will need. Let's roll the demo right now so that you can see what we are going to build. And this is the app running on localhost 3000. So we have this nice pizza image on the left and the calculator part on the right. And we can see that we already have some numbers inputted, and we see that for 10 people and 5 slices per person and 1 slice per pizza, we need 50 pizzas, which is correct. And if I change this to 2, we see that the output changes as well. And now we need 25 pizzas. Very simple. I'm going to show you how to use Usereducer to achieve this. I hope you like the demo. If this is your first time on the channel, my name is Usman. I am a self-taught web developer and I make tutorials about web development topics. And if that's something that you like and you want to know more, I recommend you subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a single thing. Let's open VS Code now and start creating this application from scratch. VS Code is open. I have created a brand new project with npx create React app, and I have an empty div with the class name of app right here. And I'm gonna start by creating the HTML, and then we are going to use the logic and create the Usereducer hook with the state and so on. And also we have an image here, pizza.png, which is in the description below the video so that you can download it. Don't worry, I'll include it in the description. So let's start right now. So inside this div with the class name of app, let's render another div. And this div will have a class name of container, okay? And inside this div, we will have 2 more divs. So I'm gonna say div, and I'm gonna create 1 more div right here. And the first div will have a class name of container image, okay? And this one will have a class name of container inputs. And inside the image div, image container image, we will say image source, and we are going to import this image in a moment. And I'm going to say alt, and alt will be hash. So I'm going to say hash, and this image will import from, so we're going to say import pizza, so pizza image from /pizza.png. So I'm going to scroll down right here and I'm going to include this picture. And right here, I'm going to provide the pizza image. So I'm going to say pizza image just like that. And below this, I'm going to have an H1 and I'm going to say pizza calculator app, just like that. And I'm going to save. And my project is running on localhost 3000, so I'm going to open it right here and I'm going to see this output, so the image of the pizza with the heading. And let's continue creating the boilerplate. So below this div, we have the div with the class name of container inputs, and this one right here will have an h1, so h1, which will hold how many pizzas we will need. And for the moment, I will just hard code 1 pizza needed, just like that. And below that, we will have a label. So I'm going to say label, and this label will be for number of, so number of people. And below this label, we will have an input. So I'm going to say input with the type of number. And this one will be with minimum of 1 and maximum of, let's say 50. And we're going to say placeholder. So placeholder, and that will be number of people. Okay, and I'm gonna hit prettier to make it prettier. And I'm gonna copy this right here. So the label with the input a couple of times, and I'm gonna paste it below. Here we will have a number of, we have a typo here. So it's people, a number of people. Then we have number of, so the last one will be total slices of pizza. So total slices of pizza. And I'm gonna copy this. And that's gonna be the placeholder. This one will be slices per person. Okay. And let's copy this. So slices per person and paste it for the label above. Okay. And just paste it. So we have done number of people, slices per person, and total slices of pizza. We can play with the min and max, but let's see what we have for the output. So let's save this file and let it compile and go back to the browser, and we can see our inputs right here, and we can see that we have a minimum of 1 for each one of them and a maximum of 50. I believe it should be 50. Come on. So we have 50 max. Okay, that's working. Now, as we have the structure, let's step into styling this application. Inside the app.css, I'm gonna say star. I'm gonna grab everything and I'm gonna say box sizing, border box, and I'm gonna say margin 0 and padding 0. And then we have the container. So I'm gonna say container. And below this we'll have image, or let's put the image right here. So the image will have a width of 400 pixels. And let's also do container image. So container dash image and container dash inputs. Okay. Container dash inputs. So the container will have a width of, not that one, width of 100%. And the display, the height will be 100 VH, the whole viewport height. Display will be flex. We will align items to the center. Justify content space evenly. Flex direction will be row. And text align to the center. Now, if we save and open, we have an error somewhere. Let's see where we have the error. Okay. Container inputs. Okay, we have a CSS error right here. Let's compile again and open the browser, and we will see that we have everything in a row position. Let's continue styling this. So for H1, so let's do here H1, font size of 45 pixels, and I'm gonna say font weight of 500. Save, and then container image will have everything. We'll copy this right here for the container image. It will be similar. So we're gonna say width of 600 pixels and height of 400 pixels. Display will be flex. Flex direction will be column, not row. And justify content will be center right here. Okay. And let's also provide some padding. So padding of 16 pixels. Okay. Okay, and save this, and let's go back and see what we have done. It should, okay, let's see why it's not working. Oh, that should be for the container inputs. So container inputs, we'll have this. We'll also have a border of 1 pixel solid DDD and border radius of 5 pixels. And for container image, we will not provide any height and width. We'll say display flex direction column, no padding here. And let's see what we have. That should be good. So let me make this smaller, open the browser, and we have this output, which looks great. Also, we need to style the inputs. So each input, so I'm going to do input, and each input will have a width of 80% and a padding of 10 pixels and a margin of 10 pixels top and bottom and 0 left and right. And for each label, I'm just going to say margin 10 pixels top and bottom and 0 left and right. Save this, come back, and we will notice that everything looks better. Maybe we can also do for the input font size of 19 pixels, and for the label we can say font size of 24 pixels, just like that. Come back, and now we see that everything looks better. What we can do now, we can slightly increase the height to 450 pixels of this inputs container. So I'm going to say 450 because I don't like how it was looking. Now it looks better to me. Let's now step into coding the logic to output the pizzas needed. So right here we're gonna import a hook called Usereducer. So I'm gonna say Usereducer, import Usereducer from React. And inside this function app, I'm gonna create, so I'm gonna say const state dispatch. This is the signature you need to follow in order to use this hook. Usereducer, and Usereducer takes two things: the initial state and the reducer. So we're going to create first an object called initial state, and it's going to have the following properties: number of people, which will be initially 0, number or slices per person, so slices per person will be 0 as well, and slices per pizza will be 0 as well. After we have created the initial state, we are going to create the reducer. So the reducer is just a pure function which takes the state, so I'm going to say state, which will be with the default value of initial state, and it takes an action which we will dispatch. And this reducer will call the action which will change the state. So here we're going to provide the reducer, and we're going to say initial state for the initial state. With that, our Usereducer hook is ready to be used, but we need to finish the implementation of the reducer. So the reducer, basically we can say switch, and we can say action that type right here. And the first case, so we're going to have a couple of cases. So case, we can call this number of people change. So number of people change And when we have this case, we will return the following. So we will return the state we have, but we will change the number of people right here with the action and the payload. So I'm going to say number of people, and that's going to be action that payload, just like that. And we will have a default right here. So I'm going to say default return state, just like that. And we're going to continue. We will have a case where we will change the slices per person and slices per pizza. So we need to implement this. So I'm going to say slices per person change. And here we will alter the slices per person key. So we can copy, and we're gonna alter this with the payload. And finally, we will have the final case, which is altering the slices per pizza. So slices per pizza change. Pizza change, and here we will say slices per pizza, just like that. And with that, our reducer is ready to be used. And now what we're gonna do, whenever we change something in the inputs, we'll dispatch that action right here, number of people change, slices per person change, and slices per pizza change. And we're gonna change the state. And we are going to display the results by doing a calculation. So let's first of all provide a default value here. So I'm gonna say value. So the value here for number of people will be state dot number of people. And if that's undefined or null in the beginning, we're gonna provide 0 right here. And we will do the same for the other inputs. So here, I'm gonna say value to be state dot slices per person. If it's null or undefined, let's give it a 0 value. And here, we're gonna say value state dot slices per pizza. And again, if it's undefined or null, we're gonna say 0. Okay, now after we have done this, let's do the rest. So the first input, when we change the number of people, what we want to do, we want to say on change. So on change, my keyboard is terrible today. And I'm gonna fire a function, and we will have the event right here as an argument. And we're gonna say dispatch. So we're gonna dispatch that action. So I'm gonna say action, and that will be number of people change. Remember, this action, so whatever you're typing right here needs to be the same, exactly the same as this right here, because otherwise you will have an error or it will not be working properly. So after we provide the action, we can also say payload. So the payload will be a number of e.target that value. So whatever we are typing, we are converting this to a number. And that way we have this accomplished. And I'm just gonna copy this piece of code right here, and I'm gonna provide it for the rest of the inputs. But here we will have a number slices per person change. So let's copy that. Slices per person change. And the rest is the same basically. So slices per person change. And we also need to copy this think one more time and paste it right here for the total slices of pizza, but change the name of the action. So I'm gonna copy this case slices per pizza change, and I'm gonna paste it right here. Okay. And with that, now we can do the following. We can see whether our reducer is working by just saying console log. So console log state, just like that. Okay, and save and come back and open the inspect tools and go to the console right here and start. So we see that the initial state is 0, 0, 0, but when we start doing this, okay, it's not working for some reason. Let's see why. All right, so I know why this is not working right now. What we need to do is we created, we set action, but that should be type. So I can say type and type. Okay, and here we can say type. And here I'm just gonna return the default values. So just like that, and finally here 0. And now with that, I think it should work. So that was my bad, I'm sorry for this. So let's compile this project and come back to Chrome and let's see. So when we change, we see that the state is getting altered. Right now we have 4, 4, 4, and 3, and here we can see 4, 4, and 3. Okay, so everything is working, our reducer is working. The final thing left to do now is to calculate the total number of pizzas needed. And in order to calculate this, I'm gonna import a hook called useMemo because I want to memoize this calculation. I don't want this component to render if we change something that doesn't need to recompute. So I'm gonna say const calculate result. That's gonna equal useMemo, and here inside useMemo I will have a dependency array as well. So I'm gonna just say const result equals the following. We're gonna say math dot floor, or we can say math dot which one was it? Let's see, math dot floor. We can try with math dot floor, but let's try math dot floor. So math floor, that's gonna be state dot number of people multiplied by slices state dot slices per person divided by state dot slices per pizza. And we're gonna say if is none, so if the result is none, or result is infinity, then if this is the case, we're gonna say return. Otherwise we will return, so I'm gonna say return result right here, and we will pass those state, so state dot number of people state dot number slices per pizza per person, and state dot slices per pizza With that, we can see that our use memo hook is not complaining, and we can pass this calculate result right here. So inside this h1, I'm gonna say with backticks calculate result pizzas needed, just like that. Now if we save this and come back to the browser, let's see what we have. So undefined pizzas needed. Okay, undefined pizzas needed can change. So if we have 5 and we have 10 slices of pizza, or we can say 20 people. So 20 people, 5 slices per each person. We will need 10 pizzas. So that's correct. However, I don't like this decimal point right here. And we can play with those, not the postman, sorry, force quit. We can grab another thing. We can, instead of mat.floor, we can use, let's see, where is that? Mat.floor. I think that was round, or no, mat.sail. We can use mat.sail, okay? So it will give us the higher number of the decimal point. Let's see. Undefined pizzas needed, but let's fix this right now. If this is undefined, we can return an empty string. And we can see that now we don't have anything. But we can also say right here, where was that number? So if this is undefined, we can make it 0, and it will be 0 pizzas needed. Yeah, so 0 pizzas needed. Okay, so again, 20 people, 5 slices each, and 10 slices per pizza. Then pizzas needed. You can play with those values right here. I forgot the correct mat function, but you can find it and you can fix it, and pretty much you will solve this issue. However, this is the application we have created today. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you subscribe and you make sure you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. I create those type of videos every week, so you're gonna learn React quickly and easily with me. So thank you so much once again for watching, and I see you again in the future.